Welcome, Andre's Mind. What's on my mind today? The Fed, they have a meeting, and I'm going to give my thoughts in the Fed meeting. What else is on my mind? Struggle, trauma. Well, we'll talk more about getting to know the inner you and my beliefs, and nothing by the way of music. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. If you're having a cup of coffee like me, cheers. There you go. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you hit your screen with your cup. If not, that was awkward. Anyway, so the Fed, oh, there's so much weird stuff going on in finance right now. And I didn't study finance in school. I self-studied finance through my mentor, Chris Laurie, through just things I would research in my private time when I was in the working world, which also leads me to believe that a lot of these YouTube finance gurus don't know shit. I'm talking about who you think I'm talking about. It's a group of them. Things that they've been marketing to people, straight utter shit. What else? I want to talk about human design. It's something that I'm passionate about. We probably can't see it, but it's Andre's charts on my shirt, trading in human design. I think knowledge itself is important, so we'll talk about that today too. Now let's talk about this, the Fed. There's a Fed meeting today. Now, I don't know why there's a meeting today when the outcome of all of this crap is known to them already. The meeting is just for the public eye. Now, when I first started making money trading, like big money, I paid for the Thomson Reuters terminal. It's not called the Thomson Reuters terminal, it's Bloomberg terminal, but I paid for Thomson Reuters because everybody had the Bloomberg terminal and I didn't want it. Anywho, inside the Thomson Reuters platform, there's chat room. Can't talk today. There's chat rooms. There's a lot of stuff in there. And then these chat rooms, they have what they call whisper numbers, whisper information, where the number of NFP, the housing reports, this is known way in advance. It's not a shock when it comes out. It's a shock when it hits Main Street simply because Main Street doesn't know. And with my trading style, I can kind of already see what's going to happen before it happens because I study price. I study how the market cycles from highs to lows, and I also study transaction cost. That's the way I trade. And again, I'm no financial market genius by any means. I just study what makes sense. So the outcome of this shit is already known. And the meeting is just for the public to brace themselves. Why do you think the big boys pull orders before and after these Fed meetings? Why? Because they know they're going to reprice the market. The market's going to give them a better price to transaction at. And guess what? The trend's going to continue. There has never that in my I'm not going to say that, but market crashes don't happen off of Fed meetings, right? It just doesn't. Market crashes are a totally different dynamic. Like CoffeeZilla with the coffee, talking to a mic. So it's just a game. It's a one big game. At least that's how I see it. And the game affects the American public, which I don't believe that they give a flying fuck about the American public. I just, you cannot convince me that the Fed cares about us. They care about the banks, right? They care about the people who deposit the money into the banks because that is the main clientele of the banks. They already know, right? Why do you think Steve Cohen got hit for insider trading, came back into the hedge fund world, bought the New York Mets, and like nothing happened? In Main Street, you got to stand up. And the other thing, Chase Bank is now, they're not letting their credit cards be used for buy now, pay later for apps like Affirm, Klarna. What's the other one? There's Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. Should I use Afterpay? That shit's convenient. I don't got to use my cash. I could pay in payments with no interest. You better believe my cheap ass is doing that shit. And it comes back down to that control thing for me because you're not in, even though you're using Chase's credit card to build credit, to pay off something that doesn't really affect your credit, it's smart for consumers to do. But your credit card on auto pay, paying off of a debt that's not really necessarily tied to your credit score. But you're using something that's going to tie to your credit score to benefit you is genius. And I'm glad people are doing it. But now the game, the game is about control, and the Fed can't, I'm sorry, Chase Bank cannot control your spending now because you're using Klarna. They want you to pay through them interest, right? And that's the big thing about Klarna, interest-free loans. Dude, why wouldn't you do that? It just makes sense. And again, Chase, you will be making money on the interest payments. Like, why are you tripping? Control. That's that's why they're tripping. Control. Um, that's my thoughts on that crap. And I'll take it a step further. If you're not speaking with your money, you will not change shit. So if I was a Chase customer, I am a Chase customer. I have a business account through Chase. I would pull my money, but I'm not a Chase credit card customer. Citibank for the win. God, I'm petty. Okay, moving on just a little bit. And another topic on money, statistically speaking, and I've been doing my own independent research on this, people are not using savings accounts like they used to, simply because the interest yielding on a savings account, it just makes no sense. And most people don't have enough money to have a high yield savings account, something to where you can put like $30,000 in and you're gaining 400 to 450 bucks per month. That's really good. But most people don't have that. So as a result, most people have no savings and have no savings accounts. And I can't say that I agree with it, but it boils down to trust with the banks, right? What's the point? You get a penny if you have a couple $100 saved. And let's be honest with you, in today's economic climate, like who can really afford to put money away? It's not many people that can. People are now trying to put money into crypto as a form of savings. Coinbase, I believe, has a high yield savings account or some kind of a yield savings account that they market when you buy and sell crypto. I don't even think that's the way because, again, if you look back at Coinbase and the paper trail, you'll see where the money goes. And that's for you to figure out, not me to tell you. But I think it's important for people to have access to things that are outside of the system, right? Because the system is, and I'll say it again, it's all about control. There needs to be an alternative, especially living in the US, where the US tries to control every single penny that comes in and out of American soil. Where's the freedom in that? There really is none. And I get it. Some people will say, well, work within the system. Well, what you don't get is high net worth individuals, offshore bank, offshore save, because it's a better. I mean, how many people know that if you have money, you can open an Emirates, it's not, that's not the right word, but you can open a checking and a savings account and get a debit card overseas. I know they offered in one, I think Dubai offers it, and what's the other one? I can't think of the other one. It's in the UAE. They offer offshore banking, and a lot of high net worth individuals are doing that. How do I know this? I know a few high net worth individuals, and it's something I considered, even though I'm not super high net worth. But you see the way that they move freely, spend freely with their money when they want, instead of having this Fed control every single move that they make. They have their eyes on every single transaction. I have an FBI story, but I'm not going to get into that because that shit freaked me out. And again, it's about control. Why do you think that before it made like it was like 4 years ago that certain countries in the UAE circumvented the dollar and were trading oil for gold without the US dollar in the middle, right? They eliminated the middleman. Now, we could talk about BRICS. I don't think BRICS is going to affect this country, the USA, heavy yet because the currencies in the countries that are using BRICS don't, the percentage of what they are to the dollar, it shouldn't hurt anything. And I know a lot of people have their panties in a bunch about BRICS. Don't. You shouldn't. I think if we have the right leadership in place in this country, what should happen is money should flow back in. Jobs should be created here in North America. I think that would make more sense, right? Have your own self-sustaining ecosystem without relying on foreign money. Kind of how what I can't say that on here. Kind of like what another country did. And then they started opening up their economic doors to other places. Put two and two together. I'm not saying the country's name on this platform. Cool. So let's get into what I actually want to talk about is knowledge of self and particularly human design. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying human design is not some kind of spiritual woo woo. I should really not say woo woo. But because again, I'm sort of woo-woo myself, right? But it's not, it has nothing to do with spirituality and everything to do with the science of you. There was no intent to take you out of your religion with human design. It's it just combines ancient knowledge in a way that the world hasn't seen yet. So, knowledge of self. In my human design chart, I have the gate of the fighter. I believe it's gate 28. So, no, it may not be gate 28. I don't remember. But the cool thing about this is at 5 years old, I was almost killed, right? This dude was just about to kill me. And something snapped. And I fought a grown ass man at 5 and got away. You don't know how hyped I was. Slept like a baby that night. Well, was 5. So actually was a baby. But again, it lingers, right? And I remember there was a situation that happened with my family. I was I think 20, 21, maybe 22. I think 21-ish, where something happened and the people around me are having mental breakdowns. And I looked at them and said, if you don't get the fuck up, I'm leaving you and I'm going to help this person. So get it together. You're not the one in pain. You're not the one fucking bleeding out in the street. I don't have time for that shit. Get your shit together. Let's go. And so when my friend Megan introduced me to human design, gate 28, it's probably not gate 28, but anyway, oh, gate 28 is the gate of the game player, but the gate of the fighter. I should look up what gate that is. Gosh, Andre, let's see. I will tell you. That's my gym app. Oh, where's my, here we go. Human design. My chart, gates and channels, charisma, wanting, gate 38, the gate of the fighter. Now, that gate has been nothing short of amazing in my life because when the shit hits the fan, something clicks. And there's been many situations to where it just gives me tunnel vision and I focus in on what I got to do and I don't care about nothing else, nothing that has anything to do about anything other than the main objective. Now, I would not have understood that if it wasn't for human design and understanding that as the profile type 5-1, like why am I attracted to trading? Why can't I figure stuff out? It's the first line. Now, the other part, the 5, which is main characteristic of me, is somewhat of a teacher, someone who, well, it's kind of twofold. Someone who goes and learns, comes out and has to teach others. I call it Superman. I have a Superman complex. I want to save the world. Now I know I can't save everyone. Kind of got to save yourself first. But I had a student ask me, why do I mentor? Why do I teach this stuff? And in my mind, it's that people deserve to know. I don't really teach anyone for free because no one understands the level of research, depth, and time that I went through to transition out of that technical analysis retail trap shit. I dove deep, and it's not fair for someone to say you should teach me for free. Like, hey, fuck out of here. Um, but that's me. Is I'm an investigator. If I wasn't a trader, I would be a detective. I would be, oh, I don't know what I would be. Um, I would be something that had something to do with research. Like one of my favorite YouTube channels is CoffeeZilla. I thoroughly believe coffee is a line one somewhere in his human design simply because the depth of research that he goes to. And I think the one may be his main line. Like my main line is line 5. That's what comes out of me more than the line 1. The line 1 is how people see me and what I do when I go into the subconscious, right? So I think that's important to know. Like I know my daughter's a 5-1, my son, my 11-year-old's a 3-5. He's going to experiment and run shit over all day long. My other baby, my little guy, Akiro, he's a 1-3, right? And knowing that enables me to attempt to make their lives a little bit easier and give them grace when I need to give them grace, give them discipline when I need to give them discipline. Can't really discipline a 2-year-old, that little fucker, man. Anywho, but you need to make sense to yourself. You have to somehow find some way to believe in yourself. And and again, I don't knock religion. I think everyone has a right to believe what they believe in. But I've never done a human design session with anybody, and I am a certified human design reader. I got certified through a lady who learned through Ra, and it was relatively inexpensive. Amazing. But for you to make sense to you is key. I have a problem with the systems in place trying to make everyone be the same way, do the same thing at the same time. When you think about it logically, when North America winds down, I'm sorry, when the people on this side of the planet die down, the other side wake up, and it just keeps going. When the 9 to 5ers clock out over here, the 9 to 5ers on the other side are waking up, having breakfast, getting ready to clock in. I find that being a problem. And what human design does is it attempts to wake you up, and you have to take action on that yourself. It's no one else's responsibility but yours. So get to know who you are on a detailed core level, because man, I tell you, when you make sense to you, you'll get a kick out of it. And one of the other things too is even this whole career path of being a trader, getting that skate 28, the gate of the game player, taking risk in order to make money. I take risk every day. Putting myself out there as a mentor is risky. Putting this podcast out for me is risky. And I'd have no one, you know, I don't know where this podcast is going to go. It's just fun. I'm putting myself out there and I'm kind of enjoying it. It hasn't paid yet. It hasn't paid me a single dime. I buy equipment for this shit. Nothing crazy but this mic, lights, and my camera. But again, it's an investment in me and what I love. So I just do it. Anyway, um, take back control, people. Know who you are. That way you can be more in control of yourself. And again, if any human design reader is trying to tell you that you need to be a certain way, run. It's all about free will. It's all about making you make sense to you, the things that you feel. Like one of my friends, she's a projector, and we have the same digestion type is silence. It's like, you like to eat alone. She's like, yeah. I thought I was weird or evil or mean. No, is we like silence. We like to eat in peace, be in peace. Um, we digest food better that way, right? With low noise. I don't even listen to loud music anymore. My TV is on like 7, and my kids will pump that shit up to like 40, and I'm like, I'm going to choke you. So it was giving her that sense of, oh, nothing's wrong with me. That was a beautiful moment for me. So I'm going to wrap this up. It's absolutely important to know that you are you, and the things that you feel, the things that you are, the things that are kind of festering in here, when I can put them on a body graph for you and help you see that, hey, you're a-okay, your life becomes a little bit better, smoother. You stop judging people and you understand everybody's different. Okay. With that being said, this episode should be out. I think it'll be out Friday. And my birthday is August 4th, so I'm excited. I'm not going to say how old I'm going to be. I'll leave that to the imagination. All right, guys, take care. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I'm enjoying sitting here talking to a camera like a psychopath, but it's fucking great. Cheers.